Welcome back to Glen Ellie, a map made by FarmerYip for Farming Simulator 15. We're kind of over a grass meadow. Was just trying to give a brief map tour, and I don't really have a vehicle to go around in. Well, you know what? Yes, I could. Let me sell something to get some money. I think I have this, and let me sell it. I gotta now go find it. I think it's way over here. This is looking down on the quarry. I apologize if this is gonna mess with someone's sense of balance, but I basically need to find this. Oh, I guess I can get rid of it. Will it let me do that? Enter to sell it. No, I don't think it's gonna let me do that. Here it is, right there. All right, we got rid of that. Surely now it will let me buy a car or pickup or something. Let's get this little pickup. Here we go. Kind of starts us in the trees. I may want to relocate the place when new equipment comes in. I was mentioning on the first video, oh yeah, there's a rock embedded out there in the road. But there is a sugar factory in here. I think if you take your sugar beets into lane A, you can sell them just for cash. If you take them to lane B, it's going to be processed into sugar in this whole factory up here. As you feed in beets, there's going to be a big old pile of sugar beets that shows up out there. Maybe 4 piles. I don't remember how much is in there. That's one input. Another input to give it is water. So you need to bring water in over here to fill this tank as it's used in the production process to help with the beets. We need to bring it. Cardboard. And frankly, I'm not sure why I put cardboard on here, but I just did because the output, funnily enough, is going to be in sacks, and it won't be in cardboard. The output's going to happen straight ahead. Another output over here, I can't remember if it's compost or chaff, but we put that kind of over here. But the output will show up in palleted sacks kind of right over here. And I tried to put in pallet accumulators wherever I could to make it a little bit easier for the player to collect the output. Oh yeah, that noise in the background is, there it is. I have the hot air balloon mod installed in the map, so it's kind of neat. I gave it a very, it's a weird circuit that it goes all over the map, but I kind of like having it in there just as additional ambiance of the countryside. When you get oil, you're going to bring it over here, and it can be sold in here. I think it's just sold for cash, no big deal. Used to be able to be processed into something kind of with a factory script. No longer have that in here. This here is a building site, and I apologize it flickers so much. Underneath there is a fill plane that as you fill this with concrete, it will rise. And I realize that looks pretty deep. Let's just pretend that they're going to build a really tall building here, and they need a very secure foundation on which to place it. So there's a lot of concrete that we can put in there, and basically it's going to be delivered for money. When there's a concrete mixer mod that I've been using that I worked with, where you can put it right here and it'll give you money, and then you'll see the fill plane rise. I think over here you can sell, this is a biofuel plant, you can sell some canola in here, and rape, you can presumably use it in the production process. I have the soil mod installed in the map, so there is lots of things in here to purchase for soil mod, the various chemicals all lined out. I don't have it active at the moment, so it isn't registering. There's a composter kind of on the north end of the map, and you sell the product here. And as you sell it, you will see a pile of it that shows up. Pallets are sold over here, any palleted product. Vehicles are kind of sold over here, and I think you can get lime underneath the building there. You can drive through. I added that in. Some more storage areas. A primary sell point, and that's for some mission things right there, by the way. Primary sell point is right here, central station or whatever it's called. Pretty much anything can be sold at this area right here. And there aren't many sell areas on this map. It is very dedicated to full-on agriculture, so you don't really have a town. This is pretty well it that you see for town. There's a country home where we have over there, so this is, I take it, a fairly rural type setting. So don't expect, huge towns in here or whatever to do stuff. This little thing is part of the universal process kit. I think it takes pellets, and I have a couple of them sprinkled around the map where pellets can be delivered. And there's a pellet mill. We'll go see it here in a little bit. But let me head over here, kind of out of this area. I installed a reader board, if you will, in the map, and I think it should cycle through pictures on there. There it goes. I almost think those pictures are from the West Coast map created by Bullet Bill, so kind of a nod to him. Just kind of installed that, put it in there. The mod was by Zentro. Yeah, that one maybe is Gilvan Valley. Anyway, just some additional pictures in the map. We've got a crashed car over here. That was something FarmerYip put in. And we got a messed up field over here. The route to the distillery is just to the right. Then we kind of come down in here, kind of a lower area. If you, I'm not a very good driver. I added this stream over here. Kind of put that in. I don't know why. I think I wanted to have put a water mill, something or other, on the map. So I did that, and in order to make that run, of course, you had to have running water. So I kind of added this whole area up in here. It really isn't functional. There's nothing. There's no. Oh goodness. It would help if I could drive straight, but evidently I can't drive and talk at the same time. So I like this old model. I just wanted to have it in the map, and so in order to do that, I kind of had to add a stream in here. So I got this all going on. It's a lot of fun to make something like this in a map and have running water. And as I look on that, I'm pretty sure my wheel is turning backwards from what it should be. But, oh well. We probably won't be up here very often, but I kind of, maybe I'll just get out of here and zip up here to look at the stream. Just can't really see it from the road. It kind of just continues down here, and I even put a pipe at the far end that it drains into, and we'll go down into the quarry. You can see that pipe shooting into it kind of down in the distance. That's kind of what I was thinking, that somebody had put a pipe in here to reroute the water so that it came down in the quarry. But yeah, this is kind of the start of it over here. A lot of water coming in. Just something fun that I made. I almost opted to put an orchard in here, but opted instead to put this old relic in here. I'm not even sure I did it right. It looks like it's sitting too far above the ground. Well, maybe it's all right. Let's head down into the quarry briefly. Oh, maybe straight ahead. Let me just come in here. You may see some flickering. I have a fill plane under here. This is a sell point. You can't tell it by looking at it, but we have a massive road grader. You can deliver gravel out here. I think you can barely see it. As you deliver it on this road, presumably the grader is going to grade it and flatten it out, but it will raise a fill plane on the road. Oops. Wow. My driving is utterly incompetent. And this wasn't in the original. I just kind of have a it was just decorative that I put it in here. Created a road and kind of a cabin up in this area to that someone would have, maybe overlooking the quarry. This is too steep to drive, but I'm going to come up here anyhow. Picnic table, kind of overlooking everything in there. Got a little firewood chopping going on, but thought it'd be interesting to put something up here, and maybe once again I'll just kind of get out here. I put a kind of in this area, hopefully this doesn't mess with anybody's vertigo, a little path over here. I added a footpath that the player could walk kind of over the canyon, if you will, look down into the quarry. And maybe this is a good vantage point. You see down there, in order to get into the quarry, there's a little spinning thing going on. I think it's on both sides. There's a bridge that the player will need to buy to put across there in order to access. There's a BGA down here. There's a cement factory. This is where the gravel and sand factory is, if you will, or the place where you can deliver rocks. So in order to get down there, the player's going to have to spend some money to get into the area. Oh, we're still running. So we get back out of here. That's tremendously steep. I think FarmerYip likes quarries. Not so much for using them as quarries per se, but just likes having them on the map. And I think this one here, he created the map to have a silage map, basically. That was his original intent, as I recall. But it's so much more than that. And so with the silage, one of the challenges he made was putting the BGA down in the quarry. So we're going to kind of head down in there here. Now this is, I played this map a lot, and after a while you could almost get lulled to sleep, pretty comfortable coming down through here, and you could, woo, yeah, see right there. I would go right off the end of this if I wasn't paying attention. So we can see kind of what this will look like. Oh, interesting, we got music. I don't recall. I don't recall putting that music in there, but it just played it for us, so we could see kind of what the bridge will look like before we put it on. And don't think you could just put the bridge and try it, and then think you could run out on it, because you'll end up in the drink like I just did. There's no collisions. So we can't really drive over there, but we can fly. So maybe what I'll do is just kind of zip over here this way. We'll kind of come down over here. I turned the BGA basically into a type of viable object. See, look at this. FarmerYip did all this. He has water running over the top of the pathway. Just love it. You got to drive through a little bit of water. I've thought of adding a script that maybe would raise and lower the water level. I'll give that a little bit more thought. I'm not sure I want to do that at this juncture. I've done that in FarmSim 19, but I haven't done it in here. So the buyable object that I made, I put all these concrete abutments around the output area. So the player, once they buy the bridge, they could come down and create silage, in all these bunkers. But if they want to sell it, they have to pay. So when they pay right here, all of these concrete abutments will disappear, and so you'll have easy access to get to the sell point. And over on the other side here are, in the foreground here, the nearest one is the cement factory, and it makes tile and something else. It's funny. This has happened over such a long period of time, I don't remember what else is output here. But you basically put in water and, yeah, water, pallets, sand, and gravel. And that will create concrete. And you can either get it loose or bulk in this bunker here, or like I say, it'll form parts of it into a tile, and you can sell the tile somewhere else, or the palleted product all can be sold up top. Well, close by, of course, is the place where the gravel and sand is created, and there's outputs kind of in here. Around the corner over there is the output for the gravel. The sand is kind of over here on this side. You can output over here. Um, the player has the option of hauling the gravel out of the pile here and putting it over here, or they can take it out of the silo basically on the other side. And like I say, I tried to keep some realism. I mean, that looks kind of like a pit, where it will come out of this particular conveyor belt. So the presumption is that there's gravel handling equipment embedded in the ground that's going to take it up into these silos here. And I don't even remember where I got these models. I do know this rock crusher. This is a Farm Sim 19 model that I took backwards to Farm Sim 15. So I had to take it into Blender and do some stuff to it to get it to work for here. We got gravel in there. I think I have animated parts on it for when it's turned on. It gets horribly dusty down here, but I really, really enjoyed setting this one up. Over here, you can see a pile of rocks, and what this is it's a boulder spawning point. There's a certain number of rocks that will just appear on a pile. The idea was to basically always have some boulders and rocks available that the player can put over into here. And it's going to be no picnic getting them there. Maybe they can shove them up the ramp over here, but they're going to need specialized equipment to haul them over. I got a crane mod all set up that can use it, that can pick these rocks up. There's a D7 dozer mod that I know can be used to push on these in here. None of which the player starts with, of course. So that's kind of what we have here. Let's see, can I carefully turn around without ending up in the drink? Oh my goodness, this is bringing back memories of being with my dad, who loved taking us kids on mountain roads. And we'd be in the back of the pickup while he drove on these roads that nobody should be driving on, and would back up close to cliffs just to get turned around and so forth. That's the quarry. We'll get back up here where it's a little bit safer. Like I say, I think the original intent, all that he had down there was PGA. The intent was to haul silage and give a challenge while doing it. I don't think we made it past up here, so let me head up north. There's a little camping area. Oh, my driving. Of course, the curve on these roads is unnatural. These aren't curves you would see in real life. Zip on up here. Wish I could zoom it out more. It's kind of an alleyway of trees. There's a pond up here, if you will. If you look closely down there, you can see fish in the water that are moving. You can't go fishing. I'm sure my boys would love it if you could, but I just wanted some additional movement. So in every pond on here, almost all of them, I've added some moving objects. Here you see a couple ducks too. They're also moving around on a spline. Unfortunately, I'm not good enough to get their feet to kick underneath, but I found a free model of a mallard duck, and I have him there, and you can hear him whack at you. Dead ahead is a place to store wood chips. That's pretty well all that's going on here. There's a little wood lot over here. Previously, there's a placeable area where a sawmill can be put in, and there's also this composter unit. I'm forcing the player to buy the composter unit and spend a little bit of money to kind of to have something else to do. All these trees in the let's maybe just take the road over here. I should have done this on the first video. Just grabbed something. This road I put in, it wasn't in the original, to come over here, kind of north end of one of the larger fields in the map. Very hilly, challenging to farm. I did try to put in a border on all the fields so we could keep the integrity of those. I didn't leave it totally up to chance as to where the plow would set in. So there's the fabric factory that I added. You take it wool or cotton, and it'll turn it into fabric that you can sell. This here was something I always wanted. You know, I created the rock spawn mod, and which has rocks that are dug up when you till in the fields. And what I always envisioned was kind of like we had on the farm. There was a place kind of in a ravine, in a low spot, if you will, where you could get rid of rocks. And so that's exactly what this is for. There's a big old trigger in the bottom of this, so it isn't going to make a pile of rocks, which I think would be a physics nightmare. But when you dump it off the cliff here, it is going to make them disappear. There's a trigger down there to collect them. So I always wanted to have something kind of like that. Further down this road, we won't go there for now, but up and over that hill, there's an apple orchard kind of down in the dip. So, oh my word. Are you kidding me? I think, can I push this off? How did I get high side? Oh, maybe that was just enough to pitch me off at a... No? Alright, we're gonna move you just slightly out. There, did that work? I think so. Beware of getting high side. Again, continue on this road. This is something I added to the map, putting this over here, kind of a pathway, if you will, through the trees. You look at this map, like right where we are, this used to be closed off, and the only other way around it was kind of at the below where it says grass, kind of a little further south. So I just wanted to have an access way, if you will, to be able to get across the way. Looks like we got a big old rock sitting there. Oops. And I just damaged the pickup. So this is a big old field here, the largest field, if you will. We'll just go kitty corner across it a bit. Dodge some of these rocks and so forth in here. There is going to be a lot of logging, a lot of objects to pick up, and work to do in this field. There's an area for placeables over here. Whoops, I just skipped over some rocks. An area for placeables. I think we had greenhouses on it when I played it on a server with someone. I put a water source up there to be kind of convenient. Down here, the road. Whoa, what did I hit? Oh, I hit a tree. Stump of some kind. I think part of this road was here originally. I think I added this part here. The road coming up in here. This is our molasses factory where we bring in pallets, we bring it fuel, we bring it, we either bring it, let's see what was sorghum, we either bring it sorghum seed or we bring it sorghum silage, and it renders it all into molasses that we can sell. I'll sit back here real quick. Ooh, my goodness. Can't even hardly keep this thing on the road. Back here is the excavators. I think I mentioned in the previous video, you can bring pipe up to here and sell it. And you see one pipe is already in the ground over there. You will see a string of pipe come out and fill up the ditch. Unfortunately, I never figured out a way to put dirt back over the top. I'm pretty sure there'd be a way to do it. I just have to think on it some. This over here, I'm forcing the player to buy the oil wells. I won't head back there. There's another stream, and then there's some oil wells clear up in the far corner, if you will, where you can gather oil. It's a universal process kit. So kind of head back over here. Yeah, so this is all new. I had to scale it in order to fit kind of in this area. That's just a lower access point. If I'm going to head back down here, these are all dirt roads. This would probably be so unrealistic in real life, but what can I say? We can do anything in a game, right? So kind of a steep road coming up here. And the reason it's so steep is you look down below, there is a train that comes through here that kind of comes through, it comes straight through out of the wood processing area over there. This is something I learned with trains in FarmSim 15. Unlike in versions following, these trains have to stay straight unless you have a special script. Otherwise, I learned the hard way that they don't turn. Now I got a bunch of trees in this ravine also kind of at precarious angles. I could probably worm, I can't get all the way through there. So I'm going to go around. I'm going to come down over here. The train will pass underneath all this. It's presumed it goes out under through a tunnel. It's kind of a grass area over here. This area of the map, FarmerYip never developed. He kind of just left it off for whatever reason. I added like this fence and these fields back here. I kind of put a field island up here, if you will. Sit up here. Yeah, so there's an area up here where it's just kind of a rocky crag. Number of trees up there, if you will. Then there's over in here. There's it's kind of a camping scene, if you will. So I'm not going to do much here. There's a fisherman back there. It's all for ambiance, if you will. There's ducks on the pond and a couple people in there, like I say, he's fishing, but there's nothing really to do back there. Just something I tucked into the mountain. It's following this road. This is all stuff that I added to what FarmerYip did. And there's a pile load of work down here. Kind of made a plateau up here. Got objects all over. There's going to be so much work. Then I had more fun adding passageways through the rocky crags, if you will. And you know, FarmerYip was Scottish, and I have no idea if any of this would be realistic to Scotland. Probably way off. But yeah, there's kind of a grass meadow up here if the player wants the grass. I think I've even sowed grain up there before. Oh, you know what? I'm probably not going to be able to even get through here. Yeah. Well, actually, you know what? I can drive through them. I'm not sure why I can drive through them, but yeah, okay, I think I know what I need to do to fix that. Yeah, there's something I need to do. These here, I don't know if they're, no, those are also pass-through. I think it has to do with the buy forest script as to how that works. They don't become hard objects until you literally buy the trees. So, actually, you know what, let me head up over the hill. I put in, up in the trees up here somewheres, a fire watchtower, if you will. Here it is. I don't even know if I can drive in there. But there's a watchtower in there. You can see people walking up and down it. You can go climb it yourself. Doesn't do anything. It's just another object. Well, now, look at that. I have a floating tree. Well, that's going to need to be taken care of. I'm definitely going to take a couple notes here, even as I look at some of this. You know, I haven't looked at this in a while. I'm going to say float tree by watchtower. I'll say cuttable trees in ravines. Definitely need to be able to do that. So there's a somewhere in here too. This is the forest. I added, and this was just for kicks. Doesn't do anything for gameplay or whatever. It's just if you ever want to go for a walk in the woods. I tried to put this elk in the remotest part of and gave him some sound. I tried to put him in the most remote section of the forest that I could. So he's just kind of in there if you want to go see elk or that kind of animal. I wanted to briefly come over here to the wood processing area to show the last major area, if you will. This is the forest. If you continue on this way down to the left, it'll spiral into the forest. You can kind of see that on the PDA map. Here we have to pay to enter, but we're not going to do that at the moment. We'll just kind of fly above it, if you will. And what we have here is a factory run on the or a sawmill run on the factory script that outputs wood boards. You give it logs kind of over here at the far end. There's the train. And then you have, I think this is a pallet factory. So you give it wood and it outputs pallets and sawdust or wood chips. Is that what it does? My goodness, I need to research these again. Dead ahead is pallet boxes or cardboard. Maybe what this does here is create. You know what? There's only one sure way of seeing. I think if I hit the F1 menu, it will tell me if I come up to the HUD. Bring board pallets and okay, so this is gonna make pallets. So what does this one over here do? Oh, I remember what this does. This one's gonna make barrels. We have a place that needs barrels, a whiskey distillery. So you put in wood chips or pallets, board wood. I think that's board pallets plus a pallet to go underneath, and it'll create barrels and it'll output wood chips. Presuming there's a little bit of sawdust or whatever. Oh, how did that happen? And that one straight ahead makes cardboard boxes, which we need in some other areas of the map. And then just a couple other buildings here for ambiance. Lots of moving parts, so hopefully it all works. See if I can get out of here without getting stuck. Maybe one other area that I'll go because I'm able to move a little quicker. I'll just go across the country and get out of these trees. I'll maybe head down over here to this road. I think it goes up and up. This follows the pasture for cattle right here. And I added fences here, kind of all the way around. I don't think FarmerYip finished the fences. That was his choice. So I put it all the way around. I figured the pasture doesn't exist. It doesn't have some way of containing the animals in it. So now it has it all in there. There's just no cattle there yet. That's water output. This is a mess of a field. I'm just going to try to gingerly make my way down through it here. I think there's a mod that has, I bet that's what's going on. I'm not that terrible of a driver. Anytime you're in a field, I'm noticing that it's harder to drive. And I think it's because I have a mod in there that's forcing that. When you get out to the road like this, it behaves better. Here's a potato washer down here. I'm forcing the player to buy it. And when they do, it'll get rid of all these concrete abutments so you can go in and out of here as you please. I think you got to bring in fuel, water, or at least fuel. Maybe fuel and water both, and obviously you got to bring potatoes and pallets. And then it'll create the output that you can then go sell. But the player's going to have to make money to afford it first. Well, already again, I've accumulated more than a half an hour, so uh, I think I'll call the episode here once I get back to the barnyard. Looks like I still have a couple things I need to do on the map, whether I like it or not. Fixing those trees and making them cuttable is something I need to do. Oh yeah, the damage mod I think I said is installed. So you fix up your equipment in here. Yeah, there we go. Maybe it's F1. I got quite a bit of damage. Do I gotta get out to do this? Or can I run a mouse? Oh, start repair. There we go. You know what, I love that sound effects. Just adds to the ambiance to help with it. I almost think there was a repair function put into FarmSim 17, but I don't think it had all those sound effects, so that's kind of cool. I've installed a number of missions into the map, so that's going to be how the player's going to make some money initially. So let me, actually, I don't know how often or how frequent they're coming. Yeah, every 5 minutes. So maybe I'll put it down to 2. So if we go here, yeah, we only have uh, one thing that we can do, composter meadow. So that's way up top. Let me just get on the map. That's way up here. I think the composter meadow is somewhere in here that you can mow. So it's going to identify that. Um, but anyway, I think I've shown most of the areas of the map. We have been through a couple of the fields. We've been to the quarry. We went by the distillery. I think we flew through a Slender Valley over here. So I maybe need to update the PDA so it shows all this. Although it's now going to show green instead of all those browns. So nothing's going to be perfect no matter how I do it. It just has all those trees on it, so it isn't going to look quite right. But took you over to the sawmill area, went over by the oil. So yeah, I think I've shown most of the map or the salient parts, that we'll be getting into. There's a lot more, maybe, that will be seen, things that I've installed. For example, it doesn't rain very often in FarmSim 15, and when it does, the temperature, if it's at the lowest possible point, and I've studied this quite a bit to try to figure out what that low point is, what you will see is possibly some snow on the hills. At a certain elevation, there isn't going to be snow on the ground down where we are. But even in this little bit of hills right over here, there should be a little bit of snow that will appear because it's high enough elevation. Just something I added to it just for kicks. I know we don't get real snow until we get into the Seasons mod with FarmSim 17 and whatnot, but I thought we would have some, at least to show. It looks kind of hokey, to be honest. Tried the best I could, and it will even build up layers of snow up there. So in theory, you could go up there with a tractor and scoop it, I suppose. Eventually, it melts, so there's a way that it comes and a way that it disappears, and all that. So, well, like I say, I need to close the episode here. I hope you all enjoyed it. And at some point, I want to start up, I think, some episodes on this. I'm debating whether to try to do a story. I mean, so many YouTubers I've watched, or a couple guys that I've watched, are really good at stories. I don't know that this will be as good as what they would do, but I at least wanted to introduce everybody to the map itself. Hope you're having a good day or a good night, whatever you're doing. Thanks for taking some time to watch this video. Wish you all a good day and goodbye until the next time.